There's also a video that's been going viral on X, formerly known as Twitter, of Vivek Ramaswamy back in 2004. Some people are calling this video a bombshell video, claiming that it exposes Vivek for what he is supposed to be. We're gonna break this video down because is it a bombshell? Is it a young person being stupid? Well, we're gonna have to watch the video. This clip has gone wildly viral. Some people say it's a bombshell. Is it? Let's take a look and find out.
Reverend Sharpton, hello, I'm Vivek, and I want to ask you, last week on the show we had Senator Kerry, and this week, and the week before we had Senator Edwards, and my question for you is, of all the Democratic candidates out there, why should I vote for the one with the least political experience?
This is on Hardball on MSNBC, by the way. He's talking to Reverend Al Sharpton.
I got involved in the political movement when I was 12 years old. And I've been involved in social policy for the last 30 years. So don't confuse people that have a job with political experience. Whoever the head of some local bureaucracy has a job in Cambridge. That doesn't mean that they have political experience, and it doesn't mean they have the experience to run the United States government. So I think that we confuse title holders with political experience, as we have seen with the present occupant in the White House. George Bush was a governor and clearly has shown he doesn't have political experience.
So this is clearly not the point of the video. The point of the video is that Vivek was deciding which Democrat candidate to vote for. But it's funny because while I was listening to that, I thought, okay, Reverend Al Sharpton, like what? Have I agreed with him even once out of a million times in the course of his political career? Probably not, but this is the once that I think he made a valid point, that just because you've served in government a long time doesn't make you the most qualified for the position. Be that as it may, not the point of this. The point of this, and what people are talking about, what you guys are talking about on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Rumble, is, well, Vivek used to be a Democrat. He was deciding whether to vote for John Edwards, the creep who cheated on his wife while his wife was dying of cancer and fathered a child with some mistress. John Kerry, another candidate, this freako climate czar who, doesn't own a private jet. I mean, his wife owns one, but he doesn't personally own one, so that makes it okay. This freako, or Reverend Al Sharpton, one of the most destructive race baiters in modern American history. So yeah, that doesn't reflect great on Vivek. That doesn't make me feel confident that he was thinking the right things at the time. Now, this was back in 2004, so is this reflective of what Vivek believes now? There's basically two ways that I look at this, two ways that I'm entertaining, or two ways that I'm analyzing this video. The first way is, well, a lot of people were idiots when we were young. I mean, I used to be more of a libertarian, God forbid. Thankfully, I outgrew that as I educated myself. I think a lot of you guys, a lot of people used to be Democrats and they saw the light. They either got a job and started paying taxes, or they had a family, or they're just not woke. They used to think the Democrats were the party of the working man. There's a lot of reasons that you might have used to be a Democrat and then switched to Republicans. So I want to be generous on one hand and say, well, back in 2004, that was 9 years ago. Were we really going to crucify this guy for being a Democrat when he was basically a kid? That's my first thought. My second thought, though, is the viewpoints of the Democrat Party, the policy positions of the Democrat Party. Vivek hasn't come out and disavowed except for speaking out against wokeism, which to his credit, great. I'm glad that he has been sounding the alarm on ESG and wokeism for a long time. But up until about a year ago, Vivek was repeating a lot of the talking points that were Democrat talking points, Democrat policies, whether it's, high estate taxes, whether it's anti-Trump, whether it's calling January 6th an insurrection, whether it's pro-masks and pro-vaccines. The guy made his money in big pharma. A lot of the things that he's held to up until he essentially launched his campaign were more similar to someone who would vote for John Edwards or John Kerry or, God forbid, even Al Sharpton. So is this video a smoking gun? I'm not sure I would categorize it as a smoking gun, but it's one more piece of evidence that a lot of us are accumulating because I want to like the guy. I like Vivek Ramaswamy. He's so likable. He's so articulate. He's so willing to have discussions. He says the right things. He's unafraid. And yet there's this grain of skepticism, of doubt in my mind about the guy. I just don't quite trust him. And one of the things that I want to try to do is identify why. let's peel back the onion. Let's dig into this. What is it about him, his history, his businesses, his books? What is it about him that makes us like him but not trust him? Because it's not just going to be a phantom feeling. There's going to be substance to it. So let's try to unpack that, and we start by analyzing things like this. Yeah, this is a red flag. Not a smoking gun, but yes, it is a red flag. Meanwhile, in Nevada, the tribal police officers, I believe these are tribal rangers, essentially wrote the playbook on how to handle the climate protesters that have been blocking roads and gluing themselves to things and throwing tomato soup at priceless art. So in Nevada, these tribal officers, tribal police officers, I should say, are pretty much showing the rest of the country how to handle it when these ridiculous climate protesters try to shut down our society. It's our society in the name of the so-called climate crisis. So what these climate protesters did is they blocked a road, and this is what the tribal officers did in response. Take a look at this. Now you can see all the traffic back up because this highway has been closed down. This tribal ranger pulls up and slams through the barricade. Just busts it right down. And then pulls a U-turn, a rather wild U-turn, comes back and seems to head for the protesters themselves, gets out of the truck with a firearm drawn, aims it at the climate protesters who freak out, who absolutely freak out, pulls them to the ground. They are in an utter panic, and he moves them off the road. Bam, job done. I think this should be textbook. What these tribal rangers are doing should be textbook for every police organization across the country. You shut down traffic, you're done. You're arrested. You're on the ground. Your peaceful protest is destroyed. Now, I saw some people on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying, well, listen, do we actually want our police to be this aggressive? Do we want our police to be this violent? And here's the question that I would pose to you in response to that. It's a valid point, but this is the question I would pose to you in response. These people, all that traffic that we saw backed up on that highway, what if someone's going to the hospital? What if someone's having a heart attack? What if someone's having a baby? What if someone's bleeding out? What if someone is rushing to the hospital to visit their dying parent? There could be life and death situations that are exponentially worsened, if not turned into a fatal event, because these brats are sitting in the middle of the road wanting us to abolish fossil fuels and become a socialist nation. So you weigh that against the idea of, oh, we don't want police, these officers of the state that are armed, that have a license to kill us as private citizens. We don't want them to be too aggressive. Like, no, we don't. We want them to operate within the bounds of their authority. But at the same time, when someone's violating the law and they are disobeying the law, yes, they should be removed. And they should be removed exactly like this. This was awesome. Meanwhile, the Mrs. American beauty pageant, this is different than Miss America. Mrs. American is geared towards married women. The Mrs. American, or the winner of the Mrs. American pageant, was asked on stage what her most empowered moment as a woman was. And I think we can agree that's kind of a dumb question. No one really wants to hear the answer to that question, except this answer. Listen to the answer that this mother of 7 gave about what makes her feel most empowered as a woman. Take a look.
When have you felt the most empowered?
I have felt this feeling 7 times now as I bring these sacred souls to the earth after I hold that newborn baby in my arms. The feeling of motherhood and bringing them to the earth is the most empowering feeling I have ever felt.
I get the chills up and down my arms. Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.